Since the 2016 election, we've heard the phrase fake news over and over again, especially from the Trump administration. Well, researchers from Dartmouth College, Princeton University, and other universities got together and decided to study the topic and see A, who is the #1 consumer of fake news, and B, how prevalent is fake news? Now, interestingly enough, the researchers found that fake news, based on their research, is not as widespread as people would have you believe. However, there are some clear signs of who is more likely to consume and believe fake news. So let's get to the numbers.
Okay, I wonder who.
So on 289 such sites, about 80% of bogus articles supported Trump. In fact, the far right, approximately 10% of the sample, made up roughly 65% of visits to sites that published more than 2 stories that were false. Trump supporters were 3 times more likely to read such sites as supporters of Hillary Clinton. So to be fair, both Hillary Clinton supporters and Trump supporters were found to follow or believe fake news. However, there's a larger percentage of Trump supporters who came across that content and believed it. Now, Trump supporters read on average 5 false stories over the course of 5 weeks. Clinton supporters read just about 1 false story over 5 weeks.
So one of the other pieces of good news is it's not that many. They read a lot more true stories than they read false stories, even for conservatives. 5 false stories in 5 weeks is obviously 1 a week. It's not that much, although it is still depressingly large in my opinion. Okay, but to me, the most important part of this is it's not equal. We told you it wasn't equal. And this whole both sides do it stuff is crap. No, there's 2 different phenomena going on here. First of all, conservatives are more gullible. They are by their nature. They believe in leaders and authority figures. And so why did big business in this country decide to partner up with more religious people? Because they thought they're easier to trick. They think that guys walk on water and there's virgin births. They'll believe anything. And we just have to get their leaders to tell them, and they'll believe what the leaders say. So what do conservatives believe? They believe that Obama was not born in the US, that he was born in Kenya. Preposterous, made up, but huge percentages of them believe, more than half believe that. More than half believe that Obama's a Muslim. They believe that Trump is right, that global warming is not real, climate change isn't real, it's not man-made, and that it was a Chinese hoax. I mean, they'll believe anything. So is it surprising that the conservatives fall for fake news more than liberals? It's not remotely surprising.
So I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because look, there might be some scientific research comparing, how gullible conservatives are versus liberals. I haven't seen it, but if it exists, let me know. But one thing that I do wanna say is, I think that liberals can also be gullible if it's confirmation bias. So for instance, during this past election, there was definitely a huge portion of the Democratic Party that hated Hillary, despised her, and the confirmation bias that they believed, right, was that she had like a terminal illness that she was trying to hide. Like, how absurd was that? It was insanely absurd, it drove me crazy, but there was a portion of liberals who certainly believed that.
So look, Anna, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, and this study shows that it exists. So yes, that's true. And by the way, a lot of people just got mad at you for saying that because they still believe it to this day.
Well, good.
By the way,
I don't care. If you believe that, you're insane. And if you dislike me for saying that, go ahead and dislike me. I don't care.
So first of all, if you're a progressive who believe that Hillary Clinton has some sort of brain disease, I got bad news for you. I just read about it this morning. I went back and looked at how that originated. It originated from the worst guys on the alt-right. They made it up, they bragged about how they made it up, and then they laughed their ass off as the right wing and the left wing believed it, okay? And the reality is, there was somebody with brain damage in the debates, and it wasn't Hillary Clinton. And she's still fine today. Why didn't she die? Why isn't she falling down every day? Anyway, I don't want to get back into that. So yes, liberals believe things that are wrong sometimes. There's the guy we covered yesterday in the woods, and this raw water movement. There's the antibiotic stuff, and viruses.
Anti-vaccine. There's all sorts of things.
I mean, I'm sorry. So yes, of course, and we're all humans, and yes, some percentage of humans are gullible, and by the way, that doesn't mean that you're wrong on everything, but there are certain things that are not factual. Okay, but that's why I love this study, because it's not equal. It's not equal. They are more gullible. They They believe in things that are wrong more often, way more often. But Anna, there's a second part.
Yes, and I think the second part is way more relevant. Go ahead.
Okay, the second part is that the Republicans who write about this stuff are more willing to write lies. They do the fake websites way more often than liberals do. Because a person who's covering the news from a liberal perspective actually cares about facts and cares about reality. So they're way less likely to write. There's so many more conservative sites that print fake news after fake news after fake news. So if you're a conservative, you're way more likely to run into fake news because your leaders are goddamn liars.
And the research bears that out, okay? So again, based on this study, they found that 80% of the bogus articles supported Trump. So yes, if you are comparing the amount of the content, right? Doing just a quantitative analysis, the majority of the fake news is supportive of Trump, supportive of the conservative perspective. And so, yeah.
And they have no morals. They don't care about truth or lies. All they care about is winning by any means necessary. To them, a lie is just a thing that they had to do to trick you because you're stupid and they think their voters are stupid. And most of the time, their voters prove them right. So that's just the reality of it, and that's why I think this study is so important. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.